Hey guys, and welcome to the Hobby News. All right, so we've got some pretty fun previews this week. So these should be up for pre-order, I think, this coming Saturday, I guess. Some Underworld stuff, which is looking pretty tasty, and a cool little vehicle we're going to look at for Necromunda, so that's good too. So yeah, Sunday preview, dive into a new chapter of Warhammer Underworlds. I'm looking forward to some of these. It should be pretty cool, so let's see what they say. This week is a big one for fans of the ultimate competitive miniatures game, Warhammer Underworlds, with a new box set, which you'll be able to pre-order from next Saturday. On top of that, you'll also be able to grab new Black Library books, collectible stickers, packs, yada yada yada. Okay, cool. Let's get to the miniatures. So yeah, pretty fun. I guess starter box there. You've got the two sides, which we're gonna have a look at. The Skaven and I guess Marathi's Dark Elves, I guess, is what they are, assassins, but we'll see what they say about them. But the models are really cool. I like them a lot, but it's the undead ones I'm really keen on. So let's see. So Neither Maze is a stone cold smackdown in one of the strangest regions of Ulgu. In one corner, we have the Shadeborn, a wicked band of 4 Kainite Shadowstalkers who fit right into these eerie environments. Yeah, so really fun models. Like if you're into elves, I'm going to be having a little go at painting some elves this year. As anyone knows that's been listening to some of these videos on the channel, I'm going to attempt some elves. I've never painted them before. In like 30 years of this hobby, I've never done it. So I've got a few on the cards, which you'll see some painting tutorials for coming up soon. I'm looking at the different ranges and seeing what would be fun to do, different color schemes, different kinds of techniques, that sort of thing. And these are fun. I can see, you can do some really cool things with these, not just for Underworlds, but just generally. I can see this being used for like a Harlequin's army, for instance. In fact, quite a few of these could be used for that. There's quite a lot of scope here. Dark Eldar as well. Drukhari. This would be really fun. There's a lot of interesting ideas that you could play around with here. Even if you want to do some Soulblight vampires, and do some fun stuff with that. I mean, there's a lot of choice. With this kind of nice, I guess, sort of ethereal cape that's going on here. That's sort of going out into nothing. You could do some really fun blends. I mean, they've just gone for like a very dark color scheme, but you could do some really vibrant color here, going from one color to the next, up into some really bright highlights on the edges. It could be really, really interesting. So these have a lot of interesting ideas for hobby projects and that sort of thing, conversions. Yeah, I like it. I like this sort of thing. Again, I've said this many times. I say it every time I do one of these videos, but the sub games are where it's at. If you want to look at cool models and cool hobby ideas and like for conversions or just generally for painting, that side of the hobby, the sub games are where you want to be looking, because they have just such interesting characters, just one-off pieces that, may or may not fit into the main games. It doesn't really matter. They're just really cool, and they can give you good ideas, good inspiration, good for testing color schemes for your main armies in Age of Sigmar or 40k, whatever you're doing, or Heresy. Just play around with it and build your painting skills. So yeah, really fun models there. And then we've got the Skaven. So this is, I guess, the first taste of some fresh Skaven, considering the range is now so old. I mean, that range was around when I was first, a long time ago, when I was working for the company back in the late 90s, early 2000s. That range is from then, sort of thing. And it's nice to finally see some new Skaven models and see what sort of direction they're going in. And you can see that the sculpting standards and, just level of ability, and obviously technology and software for sculpting these things, now that they're done digitally and all of that, you can see that they can actually give them a bit more dynamism. Not that they didn't have it before, but, we're actually seeing legs here. We're seeing limbs, proper, I guess, anatomy on these Skaven, so that they can actually do the kind of, acrobatic sort of poses that they're meant to be able to. Mostly in the old models, they're very squat, like most of the old miniatures were, very squat. The legs are sort of tucked in under the body, that sort of thing, almost like a dwarf. But here we're seeing a very agile model here, the full scope of what this little Skaven can do. And I think that's really great. This is a good look into what we might see in the future for Skaven kits and that sort of thing. And I hope that it is, that we do see that, because that's just going to breathe a lot of life into that army, because it's a very loved army. The people that play Skaven are sort of diehard fans of it, and that they will have collected it for the whole time they're in the hobby, always going back to it. It's one of those kind of armies where it's like got that sort of appeal. If you like rats, you're going to like rats. It's no two ways about it. And here we're seeing some great options, the assassins and all of that sort of thing. Even this, where it's, delicately balanced on a sort of, I guess, a magical eruption that's coming up out of the ground, and he's able to like leap off of it, all of that sort of little gestures, this sort of running on the side of I guess it would be, a pipe or something like that, like they're in a sewer system or something, this sort of angled piece of rock, and he's running along the edge of it. It just, it's very exciting to see. I'm really happy that they're sort of digging into this and playing around with some ideas. I especially like these two bottom ones, I guess, or even this one up here on the top left. That's pretty cool. The rest are pretty standard, these other two in the back, but this is where it's at. We're seeing some really nice, interesting designs going on here. I'm pretty excited. It's going to be cool. I'm not a huge Skaven guy, but I do like Nurgle, and Clan Pestilence is pretty cool, so I'm really interested to see what they do for that. It'd be fun to do some, Nurgle-y Skaven. That'd be cool. So all in all, pretty exciting release, I think, for people that love these armies for sure, and for conversion. And then finally we've already looked at these, but we have the Necromantic Warband, and this is going to be fun. You're definitely going to see some tutorials of some of this on the channel. I'll definitely do the leader here, and maybe do some, I don't know, might do some color glazing or some different colored skin for zombies, that sort of thing. That'd be a fun one. There's a lot you could do here, but they're just cool, classic, zombies going on that sort of, I guess Frankenstein, monster sort of idea, with all of these little, I suppose, electrical, what do you call them, aerials or whatever, to catch lightning or to charge them up, as they walk. Sort of a different take on a zombie, sort of a construct. If you look at the, if you go on the link in the down there, Blight of Gods, which is my brand, I've talked about this before, but my zombies in my own world are done in this way, this sort of construct idea where they're sort of animated by, at least for mine, it's, they've got embedded sort of magical devices and things which power them up, magically, and make them walk. Here we're seeing a sort of more mechanical version where the lightning or the energy is being carried through the body via these little sort of points and keeping them going. It's a cool idea, and it gives you a lot of scope for different sorts of sculpts, different ideas. On mine, I've taken the back of the, created a cavity in the back of the head, so you've got a sort of inverted sort of curve, and then you can place something inside the head, instead of a brain you might have, I think I've got like, sort of power stones, that sort of thing. So you can do a lot of like cool things, and then create, different, I guess, embedded pieces coming off the head, like spikes and whatever else you want to do. So all in all, I really like this kind of vibe, and it'll be fun to see if they push it even further. They might go, into more of this, and we might see some bigger sort of undead creatures like ogres, that sort of thing, with this type of I guess electro arc kind of technology going in them, with as with this one here, we've got obviously a different species of arm being attached to the human. We could see some more of that. Would be fun, right? So all in all, I'm pretty happy about these, and I think that they're going to be a fun challenge for painting. We can see some nice blends here. The painters have done a good job. We're getting a sort of, I guess this is implying that this was skin in some way. We've got that sort of skin tone down the bottom, and then they're blending it up through some, soft purple tones up into a darker tone up here. This is a really fun one to do. Very similar to the tutorials I've done on the channel with blues and greens, but this is using flesh tones up into purples. So that's another way that you can do it. That's a great subject for doing blends like that. So all in all, pretty good. And we've obviously seen these before, so they're part of it too. The Stormcast and the Cruel Boys, and then we've got our books as we normally do. They release tons and tons of books all the time, which is great if you love the stories. So we've got all that there, and then I think finally let's just take a little look at this buggy, because it looks really good. So we've got Vespa Minx Medina, I guess, an Orlock bounty hunter with best something or other. What's that? Kofa? I don't know. Anyway, we've got a buggy, right? And the first time I looked at this, I thought, oh, we got a squat that's driving it. I'm not sure if it's a squat. I guess it's too big to be a squat. But when I first saw the image of this, I thought, oh, that'd be great. They have like a little squat, because if you don't know, back in the day with the original squat models for 40k, which are like space dwarves, if you don't know what squats are, although by now with the amount of it that's on the internet, you should know what they are by now if you're watching this video. And the model that they had was like a little trike with this type of configuration, except with one wheel at the front instead of two, and you had your little dwarf on it. And as soon as I saw this, that reminded me straight away of that model, and I thought, oh, that'd be great. They've got like a squat, like, you know, in Necromunda. That's awesome, because I think they released a couple of special ones, squats already, and so having a few more would be really fun. But I don't think that is. Yeah, Big Pete doesn't sound like a squat to me. So yeah, but a really fun model. I'm still up in the air about whether vehicles and that sort of thing in Necromunda are a good idea. I'm not sure how they're going to balance it, but it look, at the end of the day, it's a great model, and I think as many that do videos on this stuff have already hinted at, you know, as with the truck as well that they just released, or the land train, this buggy and so on. I mean, great orc conversion parts, right? These are just primed for an orc player to use these in an orc army, and you know, bash them up a bit and put a bit of orky paraphernalia on them, a few grots and so on. Take the riders off and put some orcs on there, and you've got yourself a great little buggy, right? That's, you know, I'm sure someone's going to do that pretty soon, as soon as this thing comes out. But I really love the design of this this woman here, this sort of bounty hunter. You know, it's an interesting choice. You know, she's got the bazooka there, but just from a pose point of view, there's a lot of motion in this. You know, it's hard to get that kind of motion in such a small area like that. So the sculptor's done a good job of just getting that twist in the body, which is the contrapposto. So you've got, you know, basically what that is one part of the body is going one way and the other part of the body is going the other, usually between the hips and the shoulders. So you have that little twist, and that gives you that action, that potential movement in a sculpture, because it's hard to make them feel like they're alive, right? So it's not just about creating an animated pose. There's certain rules to the anatomy to really make it feel like it's moving, and she does. It's very Mad Max, you know. You get the sense of the wind flowing through her hair, and, you know, her twisting around to fire the rocket launcher. She's got this little cable behind her here, or hose, which adds to the movement, the action of this, you know. So you're getting the line through the bazooka, down through the face, and then around the arm, and around in this sort of canister here into the back, and then up again. You know, it's really good. It's very nice little touch. The sculptors, you know, paid attention to those things and giving you something a little bit more interesting, which you're not really going to know unless you sort of understand this stuff. But it's going to make it more pleasing to both paint and look at generally on your tabletop, rather than just having, let's say, a very static pose where she's just standing with the rocket launcher. Yeah, it's very subtle, but you know, I'm glad it's there. Whoever sculpted this was you know, paying attention in anatomy class when they're at art school or whatever, right? So yeah, really, really cool. So I like it. Let's see some details. Yeah, so we've got this huge rocket sort of ammo. I don't know what you call that on guns, but, you know, I'm assuming that goes all the way around, just as I said. So you've got that curve going back up into this canister and back up and around. So yeah, really nice, really nice. For those that are interested in the art of these things, that's a nice little thing there. And, you know, obviously the rider's, you know, very static. There's not much you can do with the rider if he's driving, but you get the movement with the figure on the back. So yeah, all in all, pretty cool. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Please hit that like button, subscribe button. It really helps me out. And I guess I'll catch you on the next one.